like champagne. I'm totally vibing. It's true what they say. It's all about timing.
Hi guys, C Chronicles here. Welcome and welcome back to Unscripted. On this channel, I post fragrance reviews as well as vlogs, which is my life outside fragrances. Now, if you like that style of content and you're not yet subscribed, kindly consider subscribing and joining the family. To those who are already subscribed, thank you so much for coming. I have a quick review for you here from off this sample that I got off my purchase that I did in my last haul. Okay, this is a new release from the House of Hermes, and I like the bottle, guys. If there's anything that these guys got right this time, it is the bottle. I love this bottle because I do have a bracelet that has, this design, so I absolutely love the bottle. Now we're going to be testing it off a tester, right? Which I am already wearing here, but I'm just going to respray it here for you, for those who would like to see me respray it. And before then, let me just show you a close-up of the little tester vial there. Okay, that is the little tester vial of the Hermes, and then there is of course a lot of wording that they've gone on to put there about the fragrance itself. So just one spray is going to be enough because I'm already wearing this fragrance. It's listed for this fragrance, and one of the notes there is very familiar because I grew up around it, the Miracle Berry. All right, Miracle Berry is listed at the top there together with some bergamot. And what the Miracle Berry is going to do here is it's going to be so distinct in its fruitiness state. Just spraying it like this, I'm in a scent bubble of a distinct tart, tangy fruitiness, right? So that is what you're going to get as the opening and the center stage of this fragrance. It also has the inclusion of the white ginger lily, which is a white floral, and then the base of this is comprised of some patchouli, the agar wood, okay, as well as some oak. So the base of this is going to be what ties, these florals and the fruits, and of course the bergamot, because the patchouli and the woods, they are going to ensure that this one has somewhat of a decent lasting power. Yeah. So there is the inclusion of the oud in here, but the oud is one that I would dismiss. It's a very enjoyable oud, if you will, right? But what I can say about Barenia, guys, a latest release from the House of Hermes, is it has that like me appeal about it, okay, where it does feel as though they were going for the crowd pleasing style of DNA there. It is going to give you fruity, it's going to give you floral, it's going to give you jammy, it's going to give you spicy, warm, woods, that sort of thing. So it then becomes a jammy, fruity, floral. What you will get most prominently there in the opening or up to the hour and an hour and a half is going to be a distinct berry. Some of you are going to be stuck with that, to an extent of calling this one an outright fruity scent. But the transition of this fragrance an hour and a half in opens way to a host of white florals, because in as much as they have just listed that white ginger lily, to me, there is a floral in here that feels more like African orange flower, orange blossom, something that's coming across as nerolish, because it is quite heady, right? But because the same tartness, the same fruitiness that you get is also a little bit intensified there. Some will be split there in, whether this is actually a fruity or it's a floral. But to me, it starts off as an outright fruity, jammy fruity. I've seen this, I've smelled this before in a couple of DNAs, and then it changes direction. So there's going to be 2 pages to this. Based on the other Hermeses that I have in my collection, I haven't exhausted all of them. This doesn't feel or give the theme of like the freshness that you will get in some of the Hermes fragrances, like the Jour de Hermes. That is not what you expect from this. It's more of a crowd-pleasing, sweet, jammy type of fragrance. The way the jamminess and the oud in this, together with the rose, there's an inclusion of the rose in this one, kind of interprets as how that Miracle Berry interprets, fusing with the oud to an extent that it is a little bit relatable there. Now, if you are not familiar with that Miracle Berry, what Miracle Berry does is it's a fruit, that you will find in parts of Africa. Where I come from, we do have it. It is used to add a sweetness to as otherwise sour fruits. Like, say for instance, you wanted to make a fruit, a juice, okay, that is comprised of some lemon, but you feel the lemon is going to be too sour, you may want to add that berry because it then sweetens things. So I do get a sweet toned fragrance overally, okay, with that fruitiness there, being very active for an hour and a half, after which it then opens to that bold, heady, white floral animality to a certain extent, feeling like there is some neroli in here. And then at some point, I do also get like a distinctness of a bergamot in here, adding somewhat of a little bit of a sour tone to those florals. Some of you are going to feel it as though it's a soapy tone to those florals. So that is the serving of this, okay? So it's going to yo-yo between jammy, fruity, floral. If you have sprayed or if you play around with a lot of fragrances, this DNA is not going to come as an outright surprise to you. You would have experienced wafts or something in this, you know, that powdery, soapy thingy, the way the white florals interpret, that is something that you get in here, despite the fact that it would have opened up with that sweet berry. So yeah, that is what I can say about it, guys. The oud in here is enjoyable. It just ties things together. The patchouli is also enjoyable in here. I think those three, the patchouli, the woods, and the oak, which is what I was really on guard for, are doing exactly what they're supposed to do here, which is to give longevity to this fragrance. I'm obviously rating it based off the sprays that I put on my arm there, okay? So those are going to be few sprays, but I can tell you that 1 to 1.5 hours in, I was smelling a distinct fruity, tart, jammy feel. An hour and a half into about 5, 6, 7 hours, it then became a white floral with a little bit of a tanginess of that fruit still tagging along, after which it then took almost a fresh direction, but not enough for me to say this I would categorize under fresh, okay? And the woods still lingered there. It's not like it becomes a outright woody fragrance. It's just the woods are there to tie things together, where you can feel that, okay, this is a freshness, but it's a freshness with some weight, okay? This is a floral, but this is a floral that's anchored by a woodiness that's giving it some weight. So that's basically what you're going to get from this, a DNA that feels 60% feminine to me, but men can outright carry this if they wanted to. What I can caution you on is I personally wouldn't gift this one to a man without knowing whether they like sweet toned style of fragrances, because in as much as it does have somewhat of a unisex appeal to me, it does feel like a no-brainer gifting or buying it for a woman. But if you know the kind of men you're buying it for, then yes, it can qualify as one that a man can wear. So it is kind of there on the fence, safe, right? But does come across to me as one that is crowd pleasing. It's not a complicated DNA. It is a DNA that if you have had a lot of fragrances before, might actually not wow you per se, because it doesn't have that addictive nature, unless maybe I've just worn too little of it to understand it. But it's a communicating DNA to me to an extent that I don't think I need to maybe do 20 sprays for me to understand it. So based on just what I have sprayed here, I can literally say, yes, it is a DNA that kind of reminds me of a host of other DNAs that I have used before. But of course, having that trick to make sure that it doesn't become a, oh, okay, this smells exactly like this, if you know what I mean. All right, so if you like your neroli tone fragrances, if you like your white florals, you're gonna love this. If you like a touch of berries in your fragrances, you're gonna love this. And that is what I have to say about it. Lasting power on me, just based on what I did spray there, was about 8 hours or so. It could be more, because I use my hands all the time, so I could have washed it at some point. But I remember that when I was testing it out, it did go on and on. All right, so that's it, guys. C Chronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have it? Is it a fragrance that you would love to add to your collection? I just would love to know. I personally would love to add this just for the bottle, but it is definitely a DNA that I wouldn't say, oh my God, I've got the most unique DNA of the, of the year or something like that. Remember to turn on post notifications. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one. Stay safe, be blessed. Love you as always, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.